Joining us now is Zeke Stokes. He's the VP of Programs of GLAAD. He handles the organization's work around this issue and was also one of the leaders behind the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Zeke, thanks for being here. First of all, did you have any inkling that this was coming down the pipeline from the president today?
No, I don't think so, and it appears maybe the Pentagon didn't either because they referred all questions back to the White House. So it's really interesting, this reopens an issue that really has already been closed. We repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011, and then we set on a course to create open transgender military service so that all qualified LGBT service members could serve their country openly, authentically, and with dignity and pride. And so this was a surprise today.
And of course, President Obama had set that path for transgenders to serve. But of course, Defense Secretary Mattis, when he came in, said we will put a 6-month pause. And now you have President Trump saying no transgenders serving in the military. What will happen to those that are already serving? Any idea?
It's unclear. Secretary Mattis did put that 6-month pause in effect, but he also indicated that he was supportive of the path to open service, as has much of our military leadership. So there are 15,000 transgender service members serving our military honorably right now. They signed their name on the dotted line and are putting their lives on the line for you, for me, for our country, indeed for President Trump and his family. All they want to do is serve with integrity, with honor, and to do the job that they signed up to do. So putting them in harm's way in this way really compromises our military's readiness. It compromises unit cohesion. It makes us less secure and less safe, which is exactly what the president says he doesn't want to happen.
Well, it's interesting because you use some of the same language that the president uses in his argument against transgender people serving in the military. He says that trans members will adversely impact the service in terms of cost and in terms of morale. What is your response to that?
It's actually factually inaccurate. We know that in terms of the cost for treating a transgender service member medically is negligible, and especially when you compare it to what it costs to train a service member to do a job for our military. I think about Landon Wilson, who was discharged in 2014, and he was a Navy cryptologist. The military spent $500,000 training Landon. It would have only cost them $30,000 to give him the medical treatment that he needed to continue to serve. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about 15,000 people who simply need medical treatment in order to be able to serve their country, and we ought to be able to offer that to them, and the cost is not and should not be an issue.
Well, you led the fight against Don't Ask, Don't Tell, which was basically not allowing gay members of the service to serve openly, and now they can. In some ways, is this worse than Don't Ask, Don't Tell, a complete potential ban on transgender people serving, whether they say so or not?
Well, at least Don't Ask, Don't Tell gave people the opportunity to serve. They just had to serve quietly and in the closet. It was obviously far from perfect, and that's why we fought to repeal it so that everyone can serve openly and authentically. It's unclear what will happen based on these tweets. These tweets are not policy. Where this goes from here remains to be seen. But if taken at face value, what we could see is the purge of 15,000 members of our military, which would be incredibly disruptive to our readiness as a country, especially in the face of threats from ISIS and North Korea and everything that's happening around the world. So this is a solution without a problem, and the president, I think, needs to be better educated on what it means to be a member of our military. He's never served.
Obviously, you're speaking to us here, but what other steps will your organization take from here on in? I know that another organization, an advocacy organization, is already talking about suing.
Our job at GLAAD is really to educate the media and the public about what's at stake in this fight. We'll be organizing folks all across this country to fight back, to stand up in resistance against this and much of the erasure that's happening of our community across the country. It started on day one when President Trump removed LGBTQ people from the website, the White House website. Then he removed us from the 2020 census. This is just another step toward erasing our community from the fabric of this nation. And this is true absolute erasure. He wants to erase us from the military, transgender people from the military. We can't let that happen, and at GLAAD we will not.
And it doesn't sound like he'll be able to silence your voice either. Zeke Stokes, thank you so much.
Thank you.